It has been verified by Ripple's very own CEO Brad Ginghouse that XRP will take the place of Bitcoin. He also stated that XRP is intended to be purchased for $10,000. This information was provided in response to the fact that Bitcoin would be obsolete. Now, this would not be the first time that a Ripple co-founder has declared that XRP is built for $10,000. Arthur Britchew, a co-founder of Ripple Labs and a founder of XRP, indicated that XRP is designed for $10,000 and must be scalable to accommodate 7.5 billion people. That being said, this would not be the first time that Britchew has made such a statement. Additionally, Ripple's chief executive officer Brad Cunning has earlier predicted that XRP will overtake Ethereum in market worth, making it the second largest cryptocurrency after Bitcoin, with a market cap that will reach over $25,000. Moreover, the price of XRP had accidentally increased to more than $37,000 and $124 on the purchase cryptocurrency market, and there were allegations that some sell transactions had actually taken place. Therefore, it has been pretty much already established by a number of Ripple officials and directors that the price of XP will range between $10,000 and $35,000 per XRP. However, the most crucial thing is that it will much surpass this amount, since XRP is going to replace Bitcoin. This is because Bitcoin was a beta test token, whereas XRP is the real deal. Specifically, this information emerged after Wells Fargo gave its approval for the use of XRP for payment purposes, and really has publicly announced that they would inject more than $650 trillion into the XRP ledger by utilizing the real token. At this point, this is incredibly optimistic, since it would be sufficient to push the price of XRP to reach $9,818 per XRP. At this moment, what a fantastic manner to discuss XRP, given that the price of XRP is officially on the rise. Moreover, we have formed a partnership with Uphold to provide free XRP valued up to $100 to each and every individual who watches this video. Merely by enjoying the video, subscribing to the channel with your personifications, and sharing this video with others are all sufficient actions. In addition, you are required to join up and upload using the link that I have provided in the description. Additionally, you are required to complete a transaction, which is not only extremely simple but also incredibly rapid, and the entire procedure takes less than 5 minutes. So this is money that is not being paid for. It is something that I strongly suggest you people do. Now that we have those things out of the way, let's go straight into the video. At the moment, the price of XRP is $2.27, but it is expected to rise to more than $10,000 within the next few weeks. The XRP ledger is expected to receive a total of $650 trillion according to the information that we have. However, before we get into further detail about it, let me make you personally listen to the CEO of Ripple, Greg Killingos, who states the Bitcoin experiment is finished. Bitcoin and Ethereum will come to be replaced by XRP. Furthermore, owing to the globalization of XRP throughout all financial institutions in many nations, including more than 30 countries, the price of XRP has been specifically created to be $10,000. Let us proceed with the video clip, shall we? What about XRP, and how does its performance stack up against that of Bitcoin? Just so you know, Bitcoin as it exists now, as we mentioned before, Bitcoin has been a successful experiment in many respects, but it has not been particularly successful when it comes to payments. The throughput of Bitcoin, both in terms of the amount of time it takes to complete a transaction, can frequently take up to an hour. I believe Tav mentioned previously that you are not going to use Bitcoin to purchase coffee unless you are willing to wait there for an hour for it to confirm the transaction, at which point the transaction cost would be rather significant. The Bitcoin you have, it's true. The SEC has been the factor that has been influencing the price of XRP. In all honesty, people seem to forget that prior to the involvement of the SEC in the cryptocurrency markets, XRP was the second most valuable digital asset, surpassing ETH in terms of value. The Securities and Exchange Commission (SEC) then intervened and stated, "Hey, we think ETH is probably okay." After that, they filed a lawsuit against Ripple, which caused XRP to fall in value. On the other hand, this is not the way that our government is meant to function. It is expected of us that we will have a fair playing field and that we will have equal employment opportunities. In this sense, we should not allow our government to choose winners and losers. It is not appropriate. The community is experiencing a great deal of frustration at the moment, but we believe that in the long run we will emerge victorious and that the situation will resolve itself. Moreover, I appreciate the manner in which you define it for the XRP family. Is that the case? Now, you are hearing all of this information from Ripple's other authorities, but what you aren't recognizing is that XRP has already been proclaimed by a number of financial news outlets, including some of the most reputable in the world such as Forbes and Wells Fargo, who announced that XRP is worth $60,000 per unit. Indeed, Forbes themselves stated in one of their stories that XRP is the next Bitcoin and that it is likely to reach a price of $59,472 in the near future. However, they did not even mention what Wells Fargo is doing with XRP, which is establishing a cross-border payment solution and service that is driven by XRP. This solution and service will serve over 22 different nations, including the United States of America, Russia, China, South Africa, Brazil, and a great number of other countries. Countries that have economies that are huge and worth several trillions of dollars will all start adding their transactions to the XRP ledger. Actual fun and the $654 trillion that will go into the markets on July 21st, with a large burn for the actual token happening on July 15th, is another important item that they are not telling you about that is about to cause the price of XRP to skyrocket in a matter of weeks. This is something that they are not telling you. In other words, we are going to have a major supply shock in a matter of days, and then, only 1 week after that, we are going to witness a flow of $650 trillion into the real token, which might cause it to jump from 2 cents to more than $65,000. In addition, they are not my words, rather these are the statements of a great number of analysts and specialists who have really been present in the area. In point of fact, this article highlights the fact that the XRP ledger is demonstrating an increase in the tokenization of real-world assets and the adoption of the real token, which officially went live on June 7th and is expected to inject over $654.39 trillion into the global real estate market. Furthermore, there is a supply of only 100 million real tokens, and I believe that 20% of that supply has already been burned, which means that there are only about 80 million tokens, which is something that is even less than 60 million real values. Establish a global real estate currency that is capable of facilitating a wide range of transactions connected to real estate, including rent payments, security deposits, and even complete property acquisitions by utilizing the XRP ledger and its actual token that is based on the XRP-PL. This is a great deal. Additionally, the sums of money that are going to be earned off of the actual token are going to be far higher than anything that we have ever seen before. Discuss the possibility of purchasing Bitcoin at a price of 2 cents or 72 cents and then selling it for more than $1,150,000. This is comparable to what we are about to witness with the real token, which is the main token for the real client ecosystem. The real client ecosystem is not going to make a huge statement on July 21st regarding their $654.39 trillion USD leaping up with the XP ledger. Okay folks, this is a massive deal. I am going to purchase a bag. I have encountered a great number of different analysts and professionals. I have witnessed a great number of individuals bringing up scenarios that are comparable to the one in which they are preparing to leave for the real token,